Well, hello there, Celina.
Well, hello there, Pete.
It's great to see you.
You as well.
I'm so excited to be doing this show for you. This is my name is Pete Kronowitt, and we're doing a Face the Music show for Celina Montoya's campaign in Texas. I am so thrilled about your campaign. I know it for a long time because I'm working with a couple of groups that are involved in your campaign. I've been in meetings with you before, so I'm so thrilled to be able to do this show for you. And not only that, not it's not just me. I'm going to be playing with a great artist, Marc Smith. And Marc is with Mockingbird Express. He's the lead singer and guitarist, and I'm so excited to hear Marc. Anyway, wow, what a crazy time we are living in.
It is something else. But you know what? I don't know that there would have been another opportunity for you and I to meet and to have this time together and to share this venue and this opportunity if things weren't the way they are. And so just kind of trying to find the silver lining and everything. And, this is one of them.
I do totally agree with you. It's the thing that I mean. There are really horrible things that are happening. I mean, just it's overwhelming. But at the same time, people have woken up. People are engaged and active all over this country, and I've met people from all over the country who are they're they're not just like concerned, they're doing things,
Mm-hmm.
and it is very heartening. It is just fascinating to me anyway. But let's talk about just a little bit about you and Texas and the district you're in, and
Sure.
I and then and we'll play some music as well. I mean, I've got some songs that I've been working on for a while, specifically for this kind of thing.
Well,
So
I'm excited to hear them. And yeah, happy to share sort of a little bit of background on where we are here in Texas, why Texas matters, right? I mean, if you're tuning in from any place else, why should Texas matter to you? But you see, here in the state of Texas, we are quite decidedly the biggest battleground state in the union. We have here a state house of 150 members and an opportunity to flip 9 seats, which will give us control over the state house. And when we do that in a year like 2020, the reason that's important is because in 2021, we do redistricting. And redistricting is what helps define the representation up in Washington. Here in Texas, we are poised to pick up anywhere from 3 to 6 congressional seats based on the US Census. So, another plug. If you haven't filled out your census work, please do it today because it is so incredibly important, not just to make sure that your community gets the funding that they need, but to make sure you get the representation that you deserve. Um, here in the state house, Texas is home to a lot of things to be proud of for sure, but some things not so much. If you ever heard of the bathroom bill, something that was introduced here in the Texas legislature. It was a discriminatory bill against individuals in the LGBT community. And it grew legs and was presented in other communities. If you want to change introducing legislation like that, we've got to change our leadership. If you are looking at protecting individuals' reproductive rights, and you don't want to have a doctor having to have cumbersome requirements in order to have their privilege to serve a patient, interfered with. That is some of the most egregious legislation starts here in Texas. If you don't want that to grow legs and walk into other states, what happens here in the state house matters. And of course, with redistricting, if you want to make sure that we put a stop to partisan gerrymandering and for once have the voters really choose their representation, not the other way around, then you should really care what happens here in Texas.
yeah, oh boy, all those things are like near and dear to the reason why I got engaged. You know, redistricting, gerrymandering, the idea of voters choosing their politicians. It is such an important aspect because it's just I think the extremism in our country, let alone in the state of Texas, started because people could not be voted out. And when one party feels like they are safe, so safe that regardless of what they do, they can get away with anything. And that, so I didn't realize that the bathroom bill, that infamous, horrible legislation, started in Texas. I was
Yeah,
born in North
we
Carolina.
don't like to talk about that too much.
Yeah.
But there are lots of great opportunities here because it's not just my race that we're talking about here. It's not just the state house. This particular district overlaps with Wendy Davis, who's running against one of the most hated men in Congress right now, Chip Roy. If he's not reason enough to vote for Wendy, Wendy is an incredible legislator. She, I think above all else, is one of the most strong and prolific supporters of individual rights and protecting women and healthcare and just doing the right thing. We also have MJ Hager on our ballot. So if you want to see John Cornyn hit the road, that's on our ballot as well. But it also goes beyond that, right? Here in Texas, we have something called the Railroad Commission. Don't be confused. It has nothing to do with railroads and everything to do with oil and gas. And it's about time that we had someone who cared about the environment, actually believed in climate change. Krista Castaneda is our candidate who does that, all the way down to the state Supreme Court. We've got a whole slate of women who are running for seats on the state Supreme Court who are phenomenal. And if we do the right thing and pass good policy, they can put it into practice.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. So let's take a step back, and you're from the district, right? You were raised in San Antonio, right?
Yeah, I grew up in a house about maybe 2 miles from where I'm sitting here today.
Wow.
Yeah, so I didn't make it very far.
Well, you went to school out of state, but
I did. I made it a point to leave Texas just so I could miss it enough to always want to come back and never leave again.
Yeah.
My mom, she raised 7 of us on her own here in San Antonio. She raised 7 kids, and she did it, doing work that was really so humbling. She made ends meet by cleaning houses, sometimes of my neighbors, with my friends. But she used that experience to build a business, right? A fully functioning organization, to the point where, just a few years down the road from there, she ended up starting her own construction company and was one of the first women here in our county to have a license to do so. So, from humble beginnings, right?
Wow.
Hard work and sacrifice. That's something I grew up witnessing firsthand. So, and for her, it was all about us getting a great public school education. The school that we had the opportunity to go to has a wonderful reputation for sending kids off to great colleges and excellent careers. And so that's what she wanted us to have, each and every one of us. And I did graduate from Alamo Heights here in San Antonio, went off to study journalism at Northwestern University near Chicago, which, if you're a music fan, also has a phenomenal music program if you're into music education. Also a really great theater program. Also a really great education and social policy program, a good engineering school, a good business. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But I while I was there, I studied journalism. I was a fellow with the Innocence Project. I worked in criminal justice reform, and then when I graduated, I came back to San Antonio because, at my heart, I'm a San Antonio girl. If you guys know that Lyle Lovett tune, you might catch that. But I worked for Texas Public Radio here. I was a reporter, and I got to see a part of San Antonio that I didn't see growing up. I got to see a side of this community that showed me why my mom worked so hard to get us into a good school and to keep us going, because so many families don't have that choice just by virtue of where they live. Just their zip code was determining their health outcomes, their educational outcomes. So I started a nonprofit that focused on some of those underserved areas, that focuses on literacy and ending that intergenerational divide because of education. And
what was the name of the nonprofit that you started?
It's called Literacy San Antonio, and reached a great milestone last year, actually. As part of the state budget, state legislature passed a part of their educational bill they actually included Literacy San Antonio as one of the few nonprofits in the state that is licensed to provide teacher training and education in literacy. So come a long way from
Wow.
starting to do it. Frankly, I didn't know how to start a nonprofit. I didn't know how to do the work, but through the work of this community, creating coalitions, working with experts. The beautiful thing about starting something from the ground up and working with people who are truly impassioned and truly want to see good work done, is there's no pride of ownership. And people are just so generous with their time and their talent. And I'm seeing the same thing play out here in politics. I wouldn't have guessed it. I'm not a politician by nature or by trade. But when you see a grassroots effort start and people are just passionate about it and they want to work together, there are just so many great things that come out of it.
Is there like one story that you have about a person's life who was impacted by the nonprofit?
Oh my goodness, just one.
Well, I mean, like I'm sure we can talk about a lot of them, but maybe one that would come to mind.
Yeah, well, I would say one that comes to mind is actually someone who was a grandparent raising a grandchild. So that's a situation that a lot of folks find themselves in when they are caring for not necessarily their own offspring, but the next generation. And she was struggling with helping her grandchild in school. When she sent her children to school, it was a different circumstance. You sent them. There wasn't a whole lot of involvement or engagement from parents at the time. It wasn't expected. And what they found out, though, with this particular child was that they needed a little bit of extra help, which was why the program was getting involved. And, through this whole experience, we're able to find out that, this grandparent, didn't feel confident in their own reading as well. There was a level of adult literacy understanding that needed to be met. And once they were able to see from their grandchild just how much they enjoyed reading and just how much reading was important to them every night, they were more inclined to be involved in it too. So it was like taking this thing that was a problem, a hurdle, and turning it into this newfound love for literacy that wasn't just for the child, but was for the whole family.
Oh, that is so beautiful. That wow, it's transformative. I mean, not being able to read your life, there's so many limitations,
Yeah.
but to be able to share that with your family, that's awesome. That's such a great. Well, I think what I want to do is maybe we'll take a short little break and I'll play a song. I think
Okay.
it's a feel good song, and it's good to start off that way.
I agree. I
Okay.
agree. We should all start on a high note.
Yes, exactly. All right, then I'll do that, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about, because I have one more question about your life journey, and then we'll get into some of the things that you want to do in the legislature.
Sounds like a plan, Pete.
All right, cool. All right, we're right back. I'll just gonna move you, and then you'll be right back. All right. So this song is is ridiculously optimistic, and I it was not born it was not born in an easy time for me or my family, but I'm so glad that I wrote it, and it's representative of kind of my dad's outlook on life. Fried shrimp, clams, some Maryland crabs, a big old bucket of beer. The waitress comes round and says, "Is everything alright? Do you never ever never know all the places you will go, all the things that life will show? Just never know. You never ever never know. Just learn to take it kinda slow. Take every chance you get to grow. You just never know." There's a long road to hoe. Just take a look at your big toe. Take off your shoe and go. Kick back and enjoy the show. all the places you'll go, all the things that life will show. Just never know. You never ever never know. Just learn to take it kinda slow. Take every chance you get to grow. You just never know. Everything you want to know, to the airport you should go. The information desk is key to set your heart and mind free. And the answers you will find, they're all locked up in your mind. They were there all along. That's the point of the seer song. You never ever never know all the places you will go, all the things that life will show. Just never know. You never ever never know. Just learn to take it kinda slow. Take every chance you get to grow. You just never know. All the places you will go, all the things that life will show. Take every chance you get to grow. You just never know. Woo! All right.
I love it. You never know.
All right. I got to plug these back in. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah. Well, like that song is weirdly optimistic for me. Like most of my songs are really not optimistic at all. I mean, they can be sweet or something like that, but yeah, anyway, but I think it's kind of really, like in this time, and there's such like overwhelming sense of dread. There's still potential. There's right now is like this moment where we could take a shift, and we could, people are engaged. People are going to vote this time around.
Oh, yeah.
There's not going to be a lot of people who sit out this time.
No, and I got to tell you, Pete, I'm human like everybody else, right? I mean, the days of spending, time at home were lovely at first, and we could take advantage of time together, but it starts to wear on you, right? Not being able to see, your family and your friends, not being able to go out and engage with people like we would, missing traditional things like the first day of school, right? I mean, my son is going to the same kindergarten that I went to. And I just know he doesn't get to have that same kind of magical experience I did. And, that place where I developed my love of reading. But every day, I think every day, something special happens. Something surprises me. There's always something that not just gives me hope, but tells me that we're all headed in the right direction if we're just willing to be taken there. And a lot of what's been happening here in 2020 is beyond our individual control, but collectively we can certainly make a difference. And I think it all comes down to voting, though. So it kind of comes full circle. You can do what you can do on your own, but together it makes an impact.
Yeah, it does. And you know what? It comes down to voting, but it also comes down to how do you encourage people to get out and vote? And that's the thing that I think has changed, at least for, there's a lot of people across this country that are involved in all these different organizations, whether it's, like Swing Left is a great organization, Sister District Project, Indivisible. I mean, and then there's literally thousands of these organizations that have sprung up. I mean, like the group that I put together of these artists who are playing shows across the country, Face the Music Collective, is really to, get people engaged. And, I think I might have mentioned this before, but my wife is running a campaign. And I just went to visit her, and
I hope she put you to work.
She did. Well, that was the thing. It's like on the couch, there was these boxes and packages of postcards. People love writing postcards.
Yes, they do.
So yeah, so I got to basically check those postcards in, make sure that the people who said that they were going to do it, that we figured out who they came from, and then I drove them and dropped them in the mail. It was like this, and some of the people that I knew had written these postcards. It was kind of
Oh,
like
I
full
love it.
circle. Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
cool. It was pretty cool. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we each have our part to play, and it might seem like a drop in the bucket, but it just takes a few drops and suddenly you're full. I mean, there really is something for everyone to do when it comes to this election. Whether it's sharing your gift of music, whether it's sharing how fast and efficient you are on sending text messages to voters,
yeah.
if it's your ability to raise money, if it's your ability to just engage one more person, maybe a friend or a family member who hasn't really been that engaged and that involved, and to turn them on to the whole political process. Everyone has something they can do, and everyone has something they can give here.
So I want to get back to the you. So you started the nonprofit for illiteracy, and then you took another detour and you went to Texas Public Radio, right?
Yeah, well, so that was my first career, right? I
Oh,
went
your
to
first career,
school.
right?
Yeah, I went to school for journalism. I worked in broadcast, and I've always been a public radio listener, right, and member, and I distinctly remember driving my mom, driving all of us down to the baseball fields on Saturday mornings, and listening to Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. And hearing Peter Sagal, and for me, one of those full circle moments was we got to see him live do a show here in San Antonio, and I'm so proud of the fact that we've got such a wonderful resource here in the city, and then that I've had an opportunity to be a part of it.
Awesome. That is really great. Um, and okay, so I want to let's bring up. I think that there's two important topics that I want to make sure we cover, and let's cover the first one now, because we talked about your nonprofit, and one of your focuses is education.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to understand. I think the legislature has really important role to play in
Yeah.
making sure that education serves everyone's needs. So I'd like kind of your take on that.
Yeah, well, here in the state of Texas, it's constitutionally mandated that we provide a public education for children here in Texas. And, the interpretation of that can change from decade to decade and generation to generation. But, I think it's more about meeting the needs of people rather than trying to scale back and see how little the state can do. We used to be a state that funded our public education in a way that really allowed teachers and schools to be innovative. And this was about 2011, one of the problems that we encountered was a budget shortfall, and we had huge cuts, billion-dollar cuts made to our budget in education, and we really have never recovered. What that meant was, cuts to, arts programs, cuts to sporting programs, cuts to AP classes that for a lot of kids in public school, if they don't get the opportunity to take those classes, they can't get the credits they need to cover some of the school, some of the classes that they would take in college. There were just, shortages of teachers and all kinds of programmings that just we have not been able to make up the difference for. And so, when it comes to really trying to find a way to put education first, I think there's nothing quite like, one, having experienced what a high quality public school education is, which I had the opportunity to do, but also having worked in situations where children were not getting that and seeing just how different the experience can be right there in the same community, even in the same district. And I think that's something that we need to change. It's incumbent upon our representatives to understand that equity in our public schools is not there. And if we
Yeah.
really want to uphold that constitutional mandate to provide public education to our students, then we need to make sure that it's done in a way that's equitable.
Excellent. So does that mean what does it mean for teachers as well. I mean, is there an impact for the teachers? I mean, obviously,
Absolutely. I mean, you're
if budgets
talking
are
about,
cut.
yeah, I mean, you're talking about larger class sizes. You're talking about, taking on multiple types of classes. You're talking about teachers having to switch classrooms. You're talking about teachers who don't get to retire when they want to necessarily. You're even talking about not even having, a teacher retirement system that is completely stable at this point. And teachers today who are having to put their own health and concerns on the back burner in order to fulfill their vocation, right? To fill that call to teach. They have very little. There's very little action that they can do when it comes to demonstrating their concerns. Here in the state of Texas, there are no teacher strikes. They could forfeit their retirement and forfeit their ability to even continue teaching if that's the case. And so it's really incumbent upon the rest of us to be strong vocal advocates for our teachers to make sure that they're being heard.
And you mentioned also the health of the teachers, and that's the other thing that I wanted to make sure that we cover. And those things are interrelated right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right now, teachers being faced with having to, I don't know what the situation is in San Antonio, but in a lot of places, people are talking about opening the schools and whether not looking at what the implications are.
In a lot of our schools, our metropolitan health district has taken the lead in trying to provide some guidance for that, making sure that we put the needs of students who maybe don't have internet access or hardware that's accessible to them or supervision in the home to be able to do distance learning, that they're the first ones back in the classroom, or students who have special needs and require assistance. They're the ones who are the first ones back in the classroom. But I got to say, those are suggestions and recommendations. They're not mandates.
Yeah.
And without the full force and support of, folks from the state, one of the things that we've seen are teachers who've decided it's better to retire than to put themselves and their family at risk. And we're losing master teachers. We're losing people who are, they're the ones who make school magical. And there's an opportunity for us to think outside the box. I got to hand it to my son's teacher and my daughter's teacher. They have created these worlds online that are engaging and special, and it's because they were given a little bit extra, right? But a little bit extra all over the place ends up costing a lot. And so we really need to make sure that we're providing those resources and tools for everyone to be able to have that experience. It goes back to this idea that, your zip code and where you live shouldn't determine the outcomes of your education, of your health, or anything.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I think what I'd like to do is I'm going to play another song, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about healthcare a little bit, because the song
Let's do it.
It's kind of about it's one of my more recent songs. This song was inspired when my wife went to go work on a campaign in another state. I live in California and she went to Arizona, and she's been there a long time. And then the pandemic hit, and it really I started thinking not just about her. Of course, the song was initially inspired by the fact that she was away, but then I started thinking about everybody who was impacted by what's going on, and just where we are. And then a friend of mine, Viola Kraus, really helped me wrap up the song and put some just beautiful touches to it. So yeah, okay, I'll play this other song. All right, okay, let me get my other guitar. When the world is a little bit colder, you can be a blanket for me. When this world is a little bit darker, you're the light I can see. If your arms cannot hold me, it's your love I still fear, and your heart is the only beating thing that is real. Stay safe, stay safe, until you're home here with me. Stay safe, stay safe. Home is where you should be. I remember what it was like before everything changed in such a short time. We hardly talk now. We should be able to agree. Have we forgotten what's important? We argue endlessly, but we're still human, and it's not right. We all want the same thing. Stay safe, stay safe, until you're home here with me. Stay safe, stay safe. Home is where you should be. Home is where you should be. Until you're home here with me.
That was quite a bittersweet one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's I mean, like I just feel like so many people are in that same boat right now, healthcare workers, when, a lot of people, they're working, and some of their families have, pre-existing conditions, and then they have to quarantine for a while. It's just it's a really scary time, and this is it's a very, I mean, like, this is the thing that people should be fearful of. This is the thing that people should be scared of, because this is what is hurting Americans right now, and it's hurting our economy. So let's talk a little bit about healthcare. Um,
Yeah, well, Texas has another distinction here. We have the distinction of being the most uninsured state in the country, and that includes uninsured children. And that's a risk, right, in and of itself. Having millions of people who can't seek the care that they need. And when so many folks have lost their job and thus have lost their employer sponsored healthcare, that puts quite the burden on our system. And the reality is, with the swipe of his pen, our governor could make Medicaid available to almost a million Texans.
oh,
And you have to ask the question, why isn't that the case? Where's the leadership there? And I think this is a fight that Democrats have had on their hands for a long time. They've been fighting to expand Medicaid and to make sure that our tax dollars are coming back to work for us and we're meeting the needs of people. But I think this is the first time that people beyond those who would be receiving that care can see just what the implications of that can come about not having it. I think this is the first time people are starting to see it might not just be for me, it could be for somebody else.
I mean, this is something that people's vote can absolutely affect, and I've seen it happen. Like we saw this happen in 2017 in Virginia when
right.
people went and voted. That it forced Republicans to expand Medicaid access, and it was at the time in Virginia it was 700,000 people got access to health care.
Yeah.
And that definitively saved lives.
And that's the thing. We know every single time Medicaid has been put on the ballot that people overwhelmingly vote for it. Yeah. So, it's time we start listening to the people and giving them what they want.
And, what's so, I mean, this is a moment where, tens of millions of Americans and Texans have lost jobs. And when you lose your job, you generally lose access to health care.
That's right.
Unless you're independently wealthy. And, there's
not too many of those, I am afraid.
Not too many of those. And it's just, because healthcare is just too expensive. Yeah. And especially if you're qualifying for Medicaid, then, for a certain percentage of those people, it's a life or death thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We have another unfortunate leaderboard statistic here where, Texas, unfortunately, is also a leader when it comes to maternal mortality. We really want to protect the lives of families and mothers and children, then we need to start giving them the care that they need when they are in our care. That's something that has kind of been pushed to the wayside year over year. And it's especially affecting Black and brown women. And, we're just saying we're not staying quiet about it anymore.
Right. Okay. So there's a banner at the bottom of the screen about voter information. And I'm going to put up some voting deadlines, and maybe you can kind of walk us through this.
Sure. Well, we're just a few days away here. We're less than 2 weeks away from when you can start voting here in Texas. In fact, we like to think of Election Day as the first day of early voting. So the first day of early voting, Election Day here in Texas, is October 13th. I'm kind of starting from the bottom here. October 13th through October 30th. And this is actually something that was interesting. So the state actually expanded our early voting days. And one of the things that happened specifically here in Bexar County, where we are, is our county officials instituted these super voting centers where you will be able to go and vote 24 hours a day during early voting at 4 locations. So please go to Bexar, BEXAR.org to find information about Bexar County elections there and which one of those sites is going to be most accessible to you. But really 24 hours, you can't beat that. But yeah, generally our early voting, the first few days, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then on Sundays, it goes from noon to 6. So there's a little bit of a later start there. But then from October 19th through the 23rd, it's 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then as well as the 24th. And then Sunday, again, there's a little bit of a late start at noon to 6. And, but at the end of the day, if you can't find a time that works for you during early voting, or you're not able to get away for one of those 24-hour periods, you can always go on Election Day, which is November 3rd. And, that's for a long time, I was an Election Day voter myself until I realized just how much work goes into making sure that people get out the vote. And so I have since turned into a first day of early voting voter, and I encourage all of you to do the same. If you have not registered to vote yet, you have until October 5th in order to register to vote. And if for whatever reason you are not going to be in your county of residence during either early voting or Election Day, you can request an absentee ballot. So if you are a student and you happen to be going to a university or college that is not in your residence, your permanent address, then you can request a ballot until October 23rd, and you have 10 days to return that. So as long as it's postmarked by November 3rd, that's when you really have to get it returned in. Now, a lot of a lot is being made of the fact that there are delays in the U.S. Postal Service right now, and so there are folks who are concerned about their ballot making it on time. If you have any of those concerns, do everything as early as possible. So, I know we at our own home have seen a couple of delays and things being delivered. So don't leave anything to chance. Vote early. When you think election day, yes, yes. If you have it, yes. If you are 65 and older and you have received your vote by mail, which here in Texas, our Bexar County officials sent everyone over the age of 65 a ballot. Please go ahead and turn it in. And if you are planning on voting in person, October 13th is the day to go.
And the key is it's also postmarked. It needs to be postmarked by November 3rd, which means dropping it in the mail before the mail gets sent that day. But no need to wait.
Don't wait because they will only wait so long to count them, right? It's at some point, they're considered late. So just to be on the safe side, do everything as early as possible.
Well, okay. So I have a little video clip here that I'd like to play. This fellow might be a little bit recognizable for folks.
Oh, yeah, our good friend paying us a visit.
Yeah, so I want to play this right now before we go into this last thing that I want to talk about.
You're in Texas in Bexar County or in El Paso County with Claudia and I, or you're calling in from New York or parts beyond our borders, you know that a very large wave is building. From Donald Trump's racism, the kids in cages, the signaling to white supremacists that led to the 23 people slaughtered in my hometown of El Paso, Texas, a little more than a year ago, his horrific handling of the pandemic, all of that is producing a major wave, in addition to the wonderful candidates that we have on the ballot. The question is, will our candidates like Celina, be prepared to ride that wave in? I mean, Celina's part of producing the wave in the first place, but one of the things that we saw when there was an 8-point gap between my performance and her performance in 2018 is if Celina had had the resources, she would have been able to be on top of that wave and she would have ridden that in to victory. We don't want to leave her unprepared again. That's on all of us. She's had the courage to step up and run, provide a compelling vision for her district, and she's working her heart out right now. It's up to all of us to complement that with donations to her campaign so that in this time of COVID, where she can't be out there in person, she can reach them through Facebook, through TV, through mailers, and through facilitating her volunteers, making phone calls and texting those voters who will decide the most important election of our lifetime.
Our friend Beto.
Our friend Beto. And if you want to see more of Beto, we'll actually be doing a phone bank together tomorrow evening. So, be sure to sign up for that. It's a good time, and he has some surprises for folks who show up at the end. You might come away with a treat or two.
Well, so this is what I've learned in the last couple of years. I've learned that what happens is, a candidate like yourself, so we understand you're a little bit about you, maybe what inspired you to run, the issues that you care about, what you plan to do in the state legislature. But I know, here's what you don't normally say. What you don't say is, you're just a person like everyone else, and this is the second time you're doing this crazy thing. And so when you run for office, you're taking time away from your family, from your friends. It's nights and weekends. It's a 24/7 thing to run for office. It is a really difficult thing. And, it's a personal commitment that you're making essentially to make things better. And so here's what I would say is that for folks who would be watching this, a lot of people are suffering financially right now. But there's some people, plenty of people who either have economic resources or still have your job. Any kind of donation right now is the most important time. State legislative races, budgets are are really small compared to congressional races. And you can make a big impact if you donate to the campaign. And also, if maybe you have more time than money, everybody's at home, and if you can just volunteer for the campaign, like Celina was saying, and make a few phone calls, it would be really, really helpful for the campaign. It makes the difference between winning and losing. And, by helping Celina out, you're helping the entire, getting people out to vote, which is so important. So you help getting people engaged is really the thing.
Yes, we have almost 30,000 new voters in our area who have never gone to the polls before. And so one of the things that's critically important is that not only do we empower them to register, but we empower them to actually go and vote, right? That's the next step. And once they do it once, they'll do it again and again and again. And that's what we want. We want to create this culture of civic engagement. We want people to show up to vote. We want to hear their voices. We want to know, how can we best serve you? At least that's what I want. And, and I think that's really the goal here.
Well, it's such a pleasure to, hear your passion and your motivation to help, to make a difference. It is just phenomenal. I have one more short song, and it's kind of like my subtle reminder for people that they might want to go get engaged, And then what we'll do is we'll bring up our friend Marc Smith, and after that, okay? Well, it's been such a joy talking to you.
Thank you, Pete. We've had a chance to kind of get to know each other a little bit as we've been in the planning phases of this. And you guys can't see Linda in the background there, like the real background. She has been doing some of the legwork here to make sure this all comes together. And my team too, just, this has been a labor of love. And I'm just so happy that we've been able to spend the time together.
Well, thank you so much. And I'll bring you back up after Marc's done. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Celina. All right. I got one more song. It's my subtle song, as I said. I'm gonna tell you all, it's time to kick your ass in gear. It's time to tear down fear. Do something now. The moment has arrived. We can say we're alive and do more than survive. Do something now. It's time we do something. Do something. Do something now. Do something. Do something. Do something now. Don't just bitch and moan. Time to get on the phone. To be sure, just knock on doors. It's forward. Oh, it's time we do something. Do something. Do something now. Do something, do something, do something now. Polar bears can't swim forever. Guns killed 7 kids today. 10 more lives, yeah, he's a Russian spy. Women's rights are being stripped away. It's time we do something, do something, do something now. Do something. Do something, do something now. Do something, do something, do something now. Do something, do something, do something now. I'm gonna tell you all, it's time to kick your ass in gear. All right, well, that's it for me. I'm glad to be bringing Marc up. And first I'm going to put these headphones on, otherwise I won't be able to hear them. Marc! Hey, it's great to see you.
Pete? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hey. Well, I'm really excited to hear your set. I'm going to turn it over to you so I don't create an echo.
Sounds good. Sometimes echoes are good though. People need to listen to themselves, see what they're really saying. So sometimes an echo is good. Peace, everyone. My name is given name Marc Anthony Smith. I go by Mockingbird. I play music out of San Antonio. I'm a friend of Celina, so jazzed that she asked me to come on and play some music for everybody. Just a few quick things. Black Lives Matter, fascism is not American, and your dollar is not your vote is your vote. I'm going to play a song about being part of the African diaspora. It's called Coat of Many Colors. I'm a coat of many colors, but you're tearing me apart. And you cut me all to pieces, but you still can't find my heart. 'Cause to you I don't belong. I am just my mother's son, and they'll put me back together when they find me in the ground. Oh my Lord, oh my Lord, do you even know your father? Have you visited his tomb? Have you taken up the offer on one of those many rooms? Now you asked me for my coat, and your eyes start flashing red, and your knife's against my throat, and there's a gun against my head. Oh Lord, oh my Lord, now I'm running towards the edge of the only world I know. Flames are rising all around me, in my blood and in my bones. When I finally taste the air, it's not quite what I expect. I forgot these chains around my feet and the stone around my neck. Oh my Lord, oh my Lord, when I awake there is an angel pouring water on my head. I don't feel the need to ask if I'm alive or if I'm dead. Though the beasts are at the gate with their hammers dripping blood, I don't fear their tongues of pain. I'll just drown them in the flood of my love. It's called Coat of Many Colors. I haven't played at many shows in the last few months, as you might imagine. Everything's closed because of the pandemic, rightly so. But that's one of the songs I've managed to write while I've been stuck at home. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll play another song that I wrote in the last few months. This might be easy to relate to being stuck at home. It's called Time. Take time out of your mind. Time ain't got no time for me. The clock is one big circle, can't you see? And on the outside is where I'll be when death comes knocking at my door. And clocks don't keep no time for me. The hands are just too greedy, can't you see? They steal away almost everything, and they always come back round for more. Yes, they always come back round for more. Time out. Take some time out of your mind. Time out. Take some time out of your mind. So I just sit back in my little shack, watch the world through colored glass. I've seen all the tables turn, I've seen bridges and towers burn. I've seen the first become the last. I've seen strange guys with them bloodshot eyes. I've seen them turn kings from fools. I've seen sunshine at night, seen all the colored lights. I got oceans in the corner of my room. Oh, time out. Take some time out of your mind. Time out. Take some time to get out of your mind. Take some time. Get out of your mind. And go outside too. That's important. All right. So I play in a rock and roll band called Mockingbird Express here in San Antonio. Quick plug for good things that do come from Texas. Lots of good musicians. Without Texas, you wouldn't have Willie Nelson. You wouldn't have Lightning Hopkins. You would not have the only surviving Robert Johnson recordings. Miss Erykah Badu comes from Texas. And Rocky Erickson and the 13th Floor Elevators are from Texas. So we may not be responsible for many progressive policies nationwide, but we are responsible for a lot of groovy music. So remember that. It's a song I play in my rock and roll band called Mockingbird Express. I did a DNA test a while ago, and I figured out I was about a quarter native, which is much more than I ever thought or suspected or realized. So this song is called Natural Feeling. It's about being somebody with indigenous blood. Well, up in arms and armed with reason, I'm the medicine man on trial for treason. They found me down by the riverside bleeding, just trying to get back on my natural feeling. I'm just trying to get back, get back. I have my sticks and stones, my skin and fat, Lord. My flesh and bone make the rib ain't crack, no. With my tooth and nail on my hands and knees, man. Do you even remember any natural feelings? I'm just trying to get back, get those feelings back. They try to give me strings of pearls and silk and satin, French cologne and a house in Manhattan. They put spoons up my nose just to feed and fatten. All that plastic and gold, such a deadly fashion. Best to get back, you need to get back. And now they give me steel and glass and a cold steam engine. Nuclear cloud, baby, need I mention? They put poison in the water, does it get your attention? Whole self-destruction's man's greatest invention. You gotta get back. I'm trying to get back my natural feelings. All right, I hold. Thank you very much. All right, so I can't quite say what my songs are about, but maybe you can dig it. It's about travel, storytelling, survival, you know, things I've learned from the people come before me, and it's about having a good time with the worst in life. I guess that's what the blues is about. So this last song is called Back When. So when you don't know, when there's holes in your history, you have to learn the myths and stories that fill in the holes, and sometimes you got to make up your own. So it's a story about that. Back when we were gypsies, back before the flood, back before they killed us for the rubies in our blood. We were holy virgins just planted in the ground, listening to the insects rub their bodies, making sounds. Ah, my mother always told me I'd be sure to die with no money in my pocket and a pencil in my eye. Well, it's been many years now, and I still don't own a gun. But Magdalena promised me if I ever needed one, go down to the graveyard where the drunken angels hide, dig a hole and jump right in. You'll come out the other side. One step towards the ceiling, one step towards the door, one step towards the feeling that it's all been done before. You are just a memory, you are just a dream, you are just a beam of light dancing on the screen. Go down to the graveyard where the drunken angels hide, dig yourself a hole and then walk out the other side.
All right.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks for having me, Celina. Thanks, Pete.
Great set.
Cool.
Thank you, Marc. You know, so clearly Marc is a natural storyteller, and I have to plug something. You know, he and I got to do a Pechacucha series together last month, and you know, he brings such imagery to the stories he tells, and the story of, you know, sort of self-discovery and travel and finding home, and it's so universal, and I'm just so grateful that I can call you a friend and that you are sharing your talents with us tonight.
Right on. Thank you so much. That's really kind. Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Cool. Well, I'm keeping Marc on mute. So Marc, just kind of wave if you want to say something. Hey, I just want to thank everyone for did you just wave? I just want to thank everyone for watching. Celina, I wish you you are going to win.
Yeah.
You are going to win. This is your time. I also want to introduce my you know, I think Celina mentioned Linda Allen. Linda, my friend, you know, Linda helps me with all these shows. We have been plotting around these shows for, you know, a year now. It's like a lifetime.
Yeah.
But they've been a lot of fun. This is just great, and it's so important for people to get engaged and help your campaign.
Celina, I'm so excited for you. Your message is fantastic. Everybody needs to go vote for Celina.
Thank you so much, Linda.
Yeah.
And thank you for all the work that you're doing.
You're welcome. We need you in the State House.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, I just want to thank everyone for watching, and I see that the sun is starting to set here in the west.
I have a full moon in the east.
Oh, wow. I love it.
Well,
I love it.
All right. Well, again, Celina, the best of luck, and we will see you on the other side when you're winning.
Marc, it was great. Thank you too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Good to see all of you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Go vote.
Go vote.
Go vote.
All right.